Hello? Can anyone see me? Whoa! Okay. Whoa, this is blowing up. We have 50 viewers. How quickly is this going to end? Oh, this is the creepiest thing ever. So, in the absence of having another voice, I guess I'm just going to be talking to myself for 60 minutes. We will probably need to change the format in the future because this is super weird. I see a chat going on right now, so if I kind of shift over here, that means I am looking at the chat window. If you have a question, start your chat with 3 question marks like that, like, is he single? Boom, and then I'll be able to see it a little bit better. All right, so notes. Starting with some shout outs. Jim and Jason, thank you for asking some questions in advance on Patreon. Brian just sent me a care package today because he lost a Mocko challenge, and he sent me some stickers to try to convince me to move to Minnesota, and a rain jacket from the Grandma's Marathon that is a little too hot to wear right now, so I will not be wearing that for this broadcast. Plus, I need to be repping the old the Nike brand anyways. Michael, shout out again. Thanks for the analysis on YouTube. Michael did the most comprehensive Google Sheets analysis, breaking down how exactly I can grow my YouTube channel. Since then, I've added 20 users, so I don't think it's working, but that is no fault to him. Okay, let's start with some questions, and I'm just going to go back and forth, pre-dated questions, live chat, back and forth, whatever I see, and I'll just pick stuff out. And if I miss it, just ask it again. Okay, question 1, are there any Mocko Show hats left? Yes, there are. I just spoke to Marley from Real Designs in South Lake Tahoe, and there is a batch of 100 new Mocko hats coming in the next week or 2. If you've already ordered one, I apologize. I'm super lazy. I have not been shipping them out. These are a little bit larger than the V1, so they don't fit in an envelope, so we're going box, which means you'll actually get them in one piece, so that's good news for you guys. Question 2 was from Andrew. He asked, how many pancakes am I eating a day? Yesterday, I had a bit of a snafu. I was trying to do just 3, and wasn't paying attention to the batter, and ended up making about 10 times as much as expected, so I think I ended up having like 11 or 12, but they were small guys, so not that bad. However, we've run out of Kodiak cakes in the house, so we just put in an emergency Amazon order before Prime Day, which is probably pretty stupid, but we are fully loaded right now. I am also trying to get Ridley on screen, and I got her some very nice Costco lean pastrami, but she doesn't like stepping on chairs, so I don't think we're going to see any Ridley tonight, so I apologize. Also in the chat room, we have the entire Mocko family, so if you'd like to give the Mocko family some crap, please don't respond to anything that Paul says, because he's just going to be incentivized to say more ridiculous things. And whatever Rob says, it is not true. Okay, so back to other updates. Costco update. I don't know if you saw, we're giving up on the dream temporarily. Costco doesn't do a ton of individual sponsorships, but that doesn't mean we won't be the first ones to do that. You know, 5 years ago, nobody did ride sharing and would like order a car from their phone, but that's suddenly a thing now. And nobody thought that I'd be a dog lover, but now I'm falling in love with Ridley. So it is possible if you keep trying. I have an article on Costco burgers. They were reviewed in the Sacramento Bee, so I need to read that article just to see where the nearest place I can get a Costco burger. That might be my first eating challenge. And there's also a Costco in Paris, France. So that might be on the to-dos list while we're at UTMB. Okay, what else do we have? Mocko Show hats, we got the update again, apologies. Somebody also asked about Applebee's. So Applebee's was ready to go. I was super excited. Problem 1, Ridley, you're gonna need to be quiet. Here, come over for some pastrami. Here, come on. Yeah, yeah. Let's rid these down here. Hey, girl. Okay, sorry. Hopefully that didn't cause any issues. Applebee's was ready to go. I called up the manager, even videotaped and captured the audio from it. And unfortunately, they weren't able to offer any discounts. So I decided trying to organize a group of 50 people, probably not worth it, especially because Amelia was not going to be able to attend. So what was the point if Amelia wasn't going to be there? And I think Paul's probably taking over the chat. So you guys probably aren't going to even listen to what I'm saying because he'll probably be more entertaining. There was also some questions about Nike. Yes, I have a lot of gear from other brands that I will not be wearing anymore. So if anyone is looking for a hydration vest or wears size 12.5 feet, wears 12.5 feet. That's very creepy. If you wear 12.5 shoes, I might have some shoes for you. So reach out. If anyone needs to contact me, there are several social media channels you can do that. I am also, my email address is mocko@mockoshow.com. So reach out if you have any questions, want to say hi, have a single friend that you'd like to set me up with. Okay, Applebee's Nike is done. So about Nike, I think there's not a ton of transparency in the industry when it comes to chatting about sponsorships and making money. And I probably will not go into the details of how many millions of dollars Nike threw at me in order to sign me. But I will say this much. This show and all of you guys makes a massive difference. So the amount that performance matters these days versus what you're able to do from a followership and a story and a brand, the brand side is way more important. So thank you guys. I really honestly probably don't have to run and should be investing 110% in this channel. And unfortunately, that probably wouldn't legitimize myself, but yeah, to get those $1 million, you just need to get a couple thousand followers on YouTube. But in terms of what a contract entails with a brand, so I'm not an expert because I've only talked to a couple brands and kind of saw a couple contracts by the end, but the main aspects are, one, a base salary. Sometimes that can be zero. A gear stipend. So for Nike, that gives you access to NikeElite.com and you can order a bunch of gear. But in addition to that, they drop 2 shipments a year, and anytime you need product, they'll give it to you. So I have entirely too much Nike gear, and I know everyone in Mill Valley is already sick of me wearing products because I'm decked out in it 24/7 at this point. What else? Bonuses. So there is incentive for racing well. So for particular races, and it's pretty much every big race that you're familiar with, there are race bonuses tied to those for the top 3 finishes. Depending on the size of the race, those bonuses are different amounts. Western States, finishing 48th did not give me a bonus, but Western States and UTMB are definitely at the top of that bonus structure. What else? Oh, also there's a travel and physio stipend as well. So if you'd like to travel, if you need a massage or go to the gym, all of that can be reimbursed through the company as well. So all of that is pretty standard from what I understand at this point. And in return, you adorn their beautiful swoosh 24/7, although tonight we're rocking the Mocko Show hat instead of Nike gear. But I couldn't be more excited. Mostly, I mean, honestly, money is always nice, but having super awesome gear that you would have worn regardless is even better. And a lot of these Nike products are just so unbelievably nice that I'm just excited to try them out. I'm wearing, probably won't show it because it's probably not safe for YouTube, but some new compression tights that are supposed to help with recovery, and they are extremely tight, and hopefully they're helping with blood flow a little bit. Okay, let's get back to some questions. Will Nike be part of the July financial report? It might. It depends if I have any money from Nike by then. The process of getting all the paperwork finalized takes a bit of time, so I'm not sure if it'll be there in time. Oh my gosh, there's somebody in the chat room named Mocko, the Mocko Show. Where are you from and why Mocko? My name. I'm Reaction Channel from Serbia. Why Mocko? Oh, okay. I don't know if that's a real person, but Mocko comes from Slovakia, the land of Peter Sagan. Unfortunately, he's not having a great tour, but that's the origins of the name, from the Mockos of New Jersey. Oh, yeah, Paul's on it. Glad I got that right. Bucket list races is another question. So I just announced that, oh, before we continue, of course, as in all these episodes, there's a beer sponsor. Actually, no one is sponsoring me on the beer side, but Lagunitas is a local beer, one of my favorites. I think they just got bought out by a large company, so congrats, Lagunitas, but this is Hop Stupid, which is available at Costco in a 24-pack, which is a lot of beer for someone who lives in a household without beer drinkers. But it is 8%, so I will be enjoying that throughout this evening. If anyone wants to take a trip up to Lagunitas, I'd be happy to join, maybe swing through Lake Sonoma for a run beforehand. If anyone has suggestions for a good beer sponsor, I would love to hear them. We have a lot of awesome local companies. Most of them have already signed their marquee ultra marathon athlete, but they could always use a Mocko Show, right? Okay. So bucket list races for this year, UTMB is coming up September 1st. For those not familiar, that is a 105-mile circumnavigation of Mont Blanc, which actually takes you into 3 countries. So I want to say Switzerland, Italy, and France. It is the biggest ultramarathon in the world. If you've heard of Kilian Jornet, the guy who just summited Everest twice in a week without oxygen, he will be participating. He is by far the largest name in the sport. Jim Walmsley, who was at Western States and is not even arguably is the best American ultramarathoner right now, will be there. Sage Canaday, the winner of Western States last year, the winner of the North Face 50 last year. Huge names will be there. If I can finish in the top 10, I'll be very pleased. If I could be top 10 even in the women's race, that would be a pretty remarkable thing, because the European women know how to run mountains and this guy does not. So I would have loved to have gotten up to the mountains. I was flirting with the idea of making a month-long training camp vacation up in Colorado. It's still TBD, but probably we'll have to wait until next year. But kind of looking, I have a feeling that Colorado is in my future, and just trying to make sure I get in there before the snow arrives. Oh, Maddie Mocko has even joined. Whoa. Okay, so bucket list races. So that's this year's races. The North Face 50 is in my backyard, so I can't really not show up for that. I really wanted to run the JFK 50 because that is in Maryland and probably an hour or 2 from my home. I would have been able to come home for Thanksgiving. I don't think that can happen now. Sorry, Mocko family. But TNF is the biggest race and will be the most competitive 50-miler in the U.S., so I've got to defend my home turf. There's some line in Home Alone about that I've quoted before that I'm going to botch right now, so I'm not going to say it. But this is my house, so I have to defend it, I think is the line. But they changed the course. It actually finishes over the Golden Gate Bridge this year, which is a little bizarre because that's not trail running, but will definitely hurt quite a bit. The bridge itself has a bit of an incline to it, which most people aren't aware of because the Strava file makes it look like you're running on the bay/ocean for that entire stretch. So there is a bit of an up there and then a screaming downhill to finish at Crissy Field. So that will be brutal, but very familiar. So excited about that. And bucket list races for next year. The biggest focus for the first half of the year will be getting a golden ticket. So figuring out when and where to do that will be the top priority. And then after that, I'd love to do some international travel, but I'm going to be pretty boring and keep on going to these same 100-milers until I really knock them out of the park. So expect Western States and UTMB in my future. Hard Rock, Leadville. It's hard to get those guys in if you're also doing Western States, but who knows? We'll see where things land at the start of next year and how my training's going, where I'm living, if my focus is on mountains or flatter, faster running. Some other interesting things on brand front. I am talking with a couple of food brands right now. Untapped, which I can't imagine a better brand. Untapped, that would be a good compliment for what I already do. Untapped basically has energy gels, but they are maple syrup. So maple syrup based products. Couldn't think of a better way to to complement the pancakes than with a maple syrup sponsor. So pretty excited to try them out. I've tried them maybe 3 years ago and haven't recently. So excited to see where that product has gone in the last couple of years. And recently just got in touch with these awesome guys from Yale called Verb Energy Bar, who do this caffeinated bar that I'm going to try out. And, you know, they're not sponsorships. They're just sending me products. If I like it, I'll tell you guys about it. If I don't, I won't. There's no money behind it for me. So I'm not incentivized to say something either one way or the other. Although the Yale guys, my mom is from New Haven, so I feel an obligation to look after those guys. That pretty much covers everything I had in the backlog. So I need to start going through all of these questions. Mayweather or McGregor, take the underdog. McGregor for sure. Garrett Heath. Whoa, will you be bringing back the Hardy Mountain Beard for UTMB? Here the European women love thick beards. I have not shaved. I trimmed this guy down for Western States. I have not done any trimming since. We'll see. It'll be a TBD. I don't think it's a particularly good look for me. But it also saves me from cleaning up my sink when there's beard trimmings all over the place. So, Garrett, if you really want it, I might have to bring that back. What else do we have? Any really good questions that I should be coming back to? Kimberly had a question about races in California. Kimberly, probably just reach out to me directly, and I'm happy to give you advice about some races. No Tour de France questions, which is great, but I've been watching about 8 hours of the tour because it's just on TV all day here. It has been pretty uneventful because every single person I care about has been disqualified or gotten injured, so slightly less exciting than what I expected, kind of like Western States 2017. Question about injuries and injury prevention. Have I been injured? Thankfully, not very much. And that's surprising because I am very high mileage. I think the big secret for me has been how much time I've spent focused on recovery. So that's number one, my pancakes. Two, rolling and stretching after my runs. I have these Normatec boots. Well, my roommates have these Normatec boots that I've been using. And basically you just put your legs in these two sleeves and then they just kind of pulse and it helps circulate the blood in your legs and get all that nasty lactic acid out. I can't tell for certain if it makes a huge difference, but it certainly doesn't hurt. So I keep on doing it and it gives me an excuse to just sit on the couch and watch TV. So recovery, emphasis on that has been super important. Something I know, Ridley, something else I really need to do is to start focusing on core and strength exercises. I've been super lazy in the past and just need to figure out a way to incorporate that back into my routine. So that will be the big focus for this next block in order to get my core a bit stronger, which generally helps out everything else in the old system. Hey, Mocko, have you tried Frosted on your pancakes yet? They sponsor Kat Bradley and Claire Gallagher. That is the organic coconut-based frosting, I believe. I have not. They have not reached out to me. I generally prefer getting chased than to be the one chasing. So if they're interested, I'd be happy to try it out. But they're probably already full of athletes right now, so they're probably not looking for others. And it would also help if I was in Boulder. Okay. Hey, Chris, I've been following you since Lake Sonoma, since starting your career. What has been the biggest thing you've learned about the sport or about yourself as an athlete? Whew. Biggest thing I've learned recently is just doing it. And just doing it, nothing to do with the slogan, but I've been very hesitant and uncomfortable about blogging, about vlogging, about tweeting, about doing a live broadcast on YouTube. This is the most ridiculous thing for me. But you just have to kind of forget that you're doing it and just release it and see what happens. Because honestly, what's the downside? This is not like a sex tape. I was just listening to a podcast about Hulk Hogan's sex tape. I'm like, that's pretty debilitating to one's career, but this is just goofy content, me talking to a camera. So there's not a lot of downside. Although I was on a dating app recently. So in my 2 weeks of non-training, I spent a little bit more time on dating apps than I would care to admit. And one girl said, before I even had a chance to say anything about myself, hey, I Googled you. Seems like you're a cool ultra marathoner. And then like an hour later, I just watched all of your YouTube videos, and that was the end. And I was like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We didn't go on a date, so I assume it's a bad thing. But so one downside is people can Google you a lot more easily for dating purposes. Hopefully this is a positive for them, but c'est la vie. I will say that putting up a website, that was the first way that brands got in contact with me. So as ridiculous and awful as my website is, that is the best way that they were able to get in touch with me. So if you're hesitant about doing this, just put it out there. The likelihood that anyone will see it is actually pretty low outside of your friends, but the downside just really isn't there. Okay, I'm gonna give Ridley a bit more pastrami because she's going nuts. Hey, yeah, she did not get a walk today, and that's on me. We did a little catch, but nothing else. What did you eat for breakfast? Richard Mocko. I assume that's Rob being super cool. What did I have this morning? So I actually did a track workout this morning for the first time in 2 years. So that's something very different that I wanted to do for UTMB. I don't know a lot of ultra runners who do track workouts, although I know Mario Frioli, who is a local coach and athlete, does prescribe that quite a bit with his athletes. And the big thing with track workout, one, it helps you get faster, but two, it really does help with efficiency and turnover. So when you're going downhill, the fact that you've run that pace on a track makes it a little bit easier to get the legs spinning on the downhill. So I'm going to incorporate that. I've got to figure out a better time to do that. This morning there was a lacrosse camp going on, and when you combine Marin children, who are probably the most spoiled children in the US, and also lacrosse players who are generally not super cool people in general. Sorry if you're a nice lacrosse player, but they tend to have a certain personality, and it's not quite as nice and friendly as ultramarathoners. But they were hanging out in lane one. They were stepping all over the track in their cleats. And I also got totally slammed with a ball in my calf and didn't even get an apology. So a little bit dangerous to have those missiles, so we'll probably start a bit earlier. But to the breakfast question, I kept it super light. Just had a piece. I had a little bit of Kodiak cake oatmeal for the first time because I didn't want to wake up my roommates, and a cup of coffee. I gotta read Jessica Harris. Mocko, Auburn moms love you. Keep doing you. You have so much support over here. Thank you, Jessica. So a question I have for you guys is, what else should I be doing? Kind of running out of ideas for new content, and I could talk about my training. I have thought about doing some crazy food challenges, but I'm not sure if that really jives with the direction I want this channel to go. So if you guys ever have suggestions, please add a comment in the YouTube channel. I read every single one of those. Send me an email. All of the above. I'm super interested in trying out new things, so would love to hear from you guys. Nathan asks, is cutting weight difficult for you? It is not, because I put on a ton of weight in the off season, which means I have a lot of weight to lose. I think something that is very easy to do when I'm running in Marin is that I go for a hot long run in the middle of the day, come back and weigh myself, and I'm 5 pounds lighter than when I began. And I'm like, oh, I'm the skinniest ever, and it's all water weight. So I try not to worry too much about weighing myself because it fluctuates so much based on the temperatures outside. It's really pretty easy to tell if you lift up your shirt or look down at your thighs to know how fit you are, and I don't need a scale to tell me that. So I don't overthink it. I think the more I think about it, the more likely I am to put on weight. So try not to worry about it too much. I do cut out beer sometimes. It has mixed results. I honestly think dessert is a better way to go because beer tends to be more social and makes me, sorry parents, makes me a little bit happier and relaxed than dessert does. So I feel like beer is the better of the two evils, although you have to be careful, monitor how much, because it can mess up sleep if you do too much. Cool. What else do we have? Ooh, want me to run with your mate? Just the banter with your mate would be funny. I could do that. I would love to have gotten the footage from Western States because my pacers had the most impossible job in the world trying to talk me out of the deepest, darkest places in my life. But unfortunately, a lot of that, or probably fortunately for me, that was not recorded because I would not be able to rewatch that. More questions. What has been your favorite race so far? What race would you like to run in the future? Okay, we already heard the bucket list question. I would love to do more European races. I need to get better at altitude and mountains before I do that. I tried to do the rut in Montana last year without any preparation specific for that race, and it went pretty horribly. I would hate to go back to one of these races without feeling prepared. Like I said, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to altitude for this cycle, but I am gonna be doing quite a few trips up Mount Tam in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully that helps. And what has been my favorite race so far? Well, locally, I love the Inside Trail running series. So Inside Trail puts on a bunch of local races in the Bay Area, basically from Monterey up to maybe Sacramento area, a little bit south of that. And they're just extremely well organized events, but also very small local feel to them. So would definitely recommend it for anyone in the Bay Area. And they actually get quite a few people who travel from across the country. So if you're ever interested, I usually do pack and pickup. You get a chance to meet the creator, producer, director, and star of the Mocko Show if you ever did that. Are you going to wear your America shorts for UTMB? I will not be wearing shorts in any race in the future. Despite the wonderful powers of squirrel's nut butter, I can't wear shorts. My thighs are too big. So we're going back to half tights regardless of the temperature. And so no America shorts. Will be in a really nice Nike kit. Nike actually, so one of the requirements for UTMB is that you have to have a full rain suit in case the weather changes, and you have to carry that with you the whole way. Nike is going to be creating custom tailored kits for all of us, so very excited to see what those look like. Michael Fang, Mocko Show idea, the Bachelor of Marin, online dating adventures with Chris Mocko. We will absolutely do this. There's one thing that is required, though. I need to start going on dates. So something for this cycle that I would like to see implemented is before Western States, I got so tired that I couldn't even do anything social on the weekdays. I am going to put a requirement that I do one thing a week in order to keep my social life a little bit more balanced. If I'm unable to do that, that means I'm overtrained and I need to be taking a break from the miles. Cool. What else we got? Were you part of a running high school college team? Yes. I ran in high school, had one of the best coaches in Virginia, and actually competed with some really good guys in Virginia. One of them ended up being third in the country in the 2 mile. He continues to run competitively, then went to Stanford, ran with some pretty stellar runners, including Garrett Heath, who's in this chat room, Ryan Hall. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a pretty decent marathoner. I got kind of my clocks clean there, but learned a ton of things. And I think a lot of them are surprised that I'm doing this now because I was far from the best, and no one would believe me that I'm in this position now. I wouldn't have believed it, but I do believe it takes a slightly different runner to handle this. If you take a track guy, try to put him on a downhill, a technical descent, they generally crumble. And a lot of that just has to do with practice, but a lot of those guys are also too fragile for the trail. So as long as the prize money stays a little as down as it is today, and the trails remain technical, hopefully we won't see a ton of crossover. Mocko Show idea, running fashion tips. I could definitely do that. I've been rocking a pretty stellar pair of 3/4 length tights, which is pretty Euro. Not really my look, but it's definitely growing on me. So they're surprisingly cool despite being pretty long. So if you're in Marin, you've probably seen me rocking them because they're my kind of go-to recovery shorts. Jason, what's your knowledge of the UTMB course? My knowledge is extremely limited. I'm going in pretty blind. I'm kind of excited to be doing it that way. I think knowledge of a course is extremely valuable, and having run it before. However, the ability for me to get out there in advance isn't really happening. And one thing that Americans tend to do is, John, thank you. I don't know how you just sent money via this thing, but thank you for that donation. Americans tend to go out a little bit before, get so excited about the trails, want to see everything that they run the whole course and fatigue themselves even before the race day. So I don't want to lose the race before it even begins. I'm going to go in this year with a notepad, write down everything that I learned during the race, take mental images of the terrain, the technical parts, the hardest climbs, so that for 2018, I have that knowledge and experience and know how important it is to practice poles. Because as much as I know that I need to be working on pole hiking, I'm probably not going to do it that much, just because it seems kind of ridiculous to do a Marin where it isn't that steep. Final question from Jim. Oh, same question. We already got that. I also have the benefit of running for Nike Elite Trail Elite. I don't know what our official name is, and a lot of those athletes have done this in the past. So fortunately, they've been able to provide some tips, particularly around what to pack in your gear bag, because those requirements are so strict. And we will have a pretty awesome Nike crew out there, so super excited about that. Will I be continuing to do financial recaps now that I'm sponsored? Yes, absolutely, Mandy. I'm also excited to announce that I am starting to do a little bit of coaching on the side. So if anyone is looking for a coach, I am being pretty specific about who my first couple athletes are. I think one problem with coaching is that bite off a little bit more than you chew, and you end up with too many athletes and you can't give them the time that they deserve. So what I'm hoping for is premium coaching, 24, maybe not 24/7 access, but very available. So far, my athletes have texted, Snapchatted, called, emailed, and having all those channels I think is super important. And actually knowing your athletes is really helpful. So far it's been mostly local guys. Definitely need to start recruiting some women as well. I, of course, don't know or understand women that much, so that will be an extreme challenge for me. Although I have coached my mom in the past, as well as Jessica from Virginia. Jessica, hope you did your treadmill workout this morning. But they've been softballs because I knew them beforehand. Understanding a new woman might be a little bit more challenging. So coaching services, coach@mockoshow.com in case you're interested. I think we've landed on a name, but I need to check Google and see what sort of domains are available. Please don't buy these now. But I really like the word Moxie, and it kind of, it has a little bit of Mocko in there. So it's going to be something with Moxie. I'm thinking Moxie Endurance is what we're going to go with. So hopefully you guys like that. I have not asked opinions of others on that, but I think I like that name. Moxie on a pair of shorts could be pretty cool. Although I think it would be better with a Y, but then it looks like I don't know how to spell it. So we'll see where to go with there. Chris, what is your Snapchat? My Snapchat, I developed this after a wedding, and I was eating a Cobb salad at the Logan airport in Boston. And so I decided, because I could not think of anything else, to name my Snapchat handle Cobb Salad, please. So COBB salad, please, is my handle. Geek with the side of nerd also says there might be trademark issues with Moxie Soda. You're absolutely right. I will not do Maxi. Chris, can you take your shirt off? Rob, I am not in good shape right now, so I will not be doing that. I'm also not as tan as I would like to be. Brian asks what distances I'm coaching. I was very specific in the naming, that I didn't want to be specific to trail. I have experience, running everything on the track as short as steeplechase, 1500s, probably wouldn't be a great 1500 coach, but steeplechase, 5K, 10K, all the way up to half marathons, and ultra marathoning. And I think the overlap in the three disciplines is pretty high. So pretty open on that front. Although I do think my current excitement is in the ultra distance. And I think it would be pretty cool to be able to race with athletes. So I think that will be the focus for now. How many times a week do I go to Costco? Unfortunately, this is pretty sad. Since moving to the burbs, Costco is actually much further away from me. So it's about a 20-mile drive. I used to be seeing a lady who lived very close to a Costco, which made it very easy to get to after dates. What's a better way to end a date than to go to Costco afterwards, which also meant dates had to end at 8 p.m. or 10 a.m. if you catch my drift. So I have not been going as much as I would like, but I do stock up pretty seriously when I do make a trip. What did I major in college? Management science and engineering. If I had to do it over again, I would have done computer science. Management science and engineering is like this mix of business and engineering. And you dabble in both, but you're not great at either, but you understand a little bit. So it's kind of like having a 10th grade education in a language. You can probably survive in the country, but you're certainly not going to be able to live there full time. Turns out computer scientist is pretty important role and highly valued in the area. However, if I was doing that, I would not be running as much because those jobs tend to take a bit more time and effort. I put on like 8 pounds in the week after Western, says Kim. I did too, Kim. I generally tend to cut out some of the bad foods, the naughty foods from my diet, or at least am a bit more responsible about my portions. But during the time off, it's all ice cream and no training, which tends to be an issue. Really wants to play catch, so we're probably gonna have to do that soon. But I think it's great to let your body reset. If you go hard 24/7, 365, it's almost certainly going to lead to breakdowns. So my focus during the off time is everything that I would not normally do, I get out of the way. And then I generally am reset and very excited about getting back into training just to get back in shape. Square bankrupt because you left. Ben, no, they're not. So when I left, the company was doing pretty well. And as of today, I think the stock price is almost up 100%. So clearly I was not as impactful for the company bottom line as I thought I would be. Valerie, you should interview runners on your training runs. I am super conflicted about carrying one of these guys on my runs, because when you're carrying this, one, the likelihood of falling increases 20-fold. Two, you look kind of ridiculous if you see anyone else out on the trail, which I normally don't do. And three, it does impact your ability to run a little bit. So I am very conflicted about getting in good training and getting in good filming. Western States, I probably could have had some pretty awesome footage and actually wouldn't have impacted my race too much, but overthinking that sometimes can impact training. I would have loved to have filmed some of the track workout the other day or this morning, but we'll try to mix it in a little bit, because I do think it is pretty cool to see runners in action. Although if it's just me, there's not gonna be a lot of content because you're just gonna see the trail in front of me. You guys can hear Ridley. Is she pretty loud? I'm sorry, that's totally normal for this household. Best flavor of Kodiak cakes. I have not tried enough of them to know. I believe there's like a chocolate peanut butter flavor, which I need to get. But there is like a double dark chocolate that I'm in love with, has these huge chocolate chips in it. That is awesome. I have been rocking a gimbal, and it's actually downstairs, so I can't grab it right now. And it is fantastic. So if you've seen any of the new footage, it tracks me when I'm standing, which is very cool, but also stabilizes stuff when I'm walking or running. So that is an amazing addition to your filming repertoire. It's definitely an investment, but when you've got awesome supporters out there, it does make it a little bit easier to get. Oh, and here goes the tearing of the couch. That has begun. Ridley, hey. Yeah, how about some of this? That's more fun than tearing down the couch. Yeah. Ridley found a fondness for the cotton underneath the couch, which is not great for the landlords. And they've actually pinned up this blanket to prevent her from getting at it, but she's torn that up. So not a great situation. Eric, have you used the instant on-the-go Kodiaks? I have. Unfortunately, our household does not have a microwave, which makes it a little bit challenging to microwave a little cup. So if you're not familiar, it's a cup of pancake mix that comes in, just a cup that you can open, standalone cup, and you add water and microwave it for a minute, and you've got a pancake, which is ridiculous. I do not have a microwave, so I end up having to put it in the oven for like 10 minutes, which is probably not good for a paper cup to begin with. But c'est la vie. That is what we have today. So they're good for travel. when I do travel, but I think I've eaten all of them already because all the flavors were delicious. We would give C roast beef so he wouldn't rip up our couch. Very funny, Paul. That is very funny. Okay, what are some non-running things like junk rope that can really help with springiness and speed? Again, I don't do a ton of these things just because at the end of the day, especially for people with full-time jobs, which I no longer have this excuse, the most important thing you can be doing is running. So doing your runs is by far the most important thing. I think next in line is probably doing strides. So whether doing, 20-second pickups towards the end of your run and really trying to open up your stride and get moving, or getting home and either finding a flat 100 yards or a hill to run up, just hammering for what I do for a stride is for the first 50 meters, you're building up and accelerating to your top speed, literally the fastest you can go. Hold that for the next 30 to 40 meters and then decelerate for the end. Doing that a couple of times a week, probably 4 to 6 reps, is a great way to open up that stride and make sure that the slow miles on the trails don't impact your cadence and turnover. Okay, Jessica, very important question, and it's 6:10. I feel like I've been talking for a long time, so we'll probably wrap this up in just a second or two. I would love to get my food before the roommates get home so they don't see me talking to myself on a camera. Fifth Harmony or Taylor Swift? T Swift has not been doing anything for a while, so definitely Fifth Harmony. I would have to do Fifth Harmony. That's a no-brainer. Although I believe they're Fourth Harmony now because I think one of the girls left, if I'm not mistaken. And then I get them and Little Mix mixed up. Maybe Little Mix lost a member, but I love both of them. Song of the week right now, if you haven't seen it, is Kesha Praying. Not great pre-run, but a nice jam in general. What are the suggestions on cross-training while recovering from 2 tibial stress fractures? Having never had 2 tibial stress fractures, I would not have a good answer for you, but my guess is something as low pressure on the legs as possible. So aqua jogging would be my guess, as much as it stinks. But I would consult somebody who is a bit more in tuned with the human body to answer that question. You down with the Costco nacho cheese? I've never had the Costco nacho cheese. I did not know that's a thing. Hey, more pastrami, come on. All right, let's take 3 more questions, and then we're going to call it a day. Katie asks, are you going to eat the full Costco menu? That was a hope and a dream. I really would like to do it, but I'm a little nervous about the impact it might have on training. During my off time, it seemed like a brilliant idea to just go hot dog, Polish sausage, slice of pizza, not a full pizza, smoothie, froyo, mocha latte, chicken Caesar salad, chicken bake, the turkey melted sandwich, churro. What else am I missing? Now the burger, maybe Polish sausage as well. I might have already said that. Would be quite a few calories, so probably not going to end up doing it, and actually might be expensive, like $30 for 5,000 calories. But if I happen to find myself at Costco, I might have to do that. I think the next eating challenge will actually be the Bob's Donut eating challenge. If you've seen this donut, it is probably twice the size of my face, and it's probably a dozen donuts just in one giant donut form. And I believe you have 3 minutes to eat the entire thing, and you get like a Polaroid photo on the wall. So that is probably going to be the next challenge. I think it might be going down on Thursday, so stay tuned for that. I'm excited to do that. The other thing I'd like to do is a pancake mile. If you're familiar with beer mile rules, pancake mile is simply eating a pancake every lap of a mile. So would have knocked that out today if there wasn't so many lacrosse players out there and if I didn't fear my life so much. Let's see. Sabrina, instead of interviewing other runners like Ginger Runner does on live, you should just split screen your dad and let him chime in or feed you questions from the chat feed. So one of our favorite TV programs in this household is Highly Questionable, which basically has a very smart sports commentator alongside his father, who just has ridiculous comments. I think my dad would do great. I know my brother would probably might have to put like the adult only censorship if he were to join. But I don't know if he'd commit to it. I don't know if he has the energy or time to do that. He is retired and stuff, so I'm pretty sure that means he doesn't have time. But we will do that. I will promise before the end of this month, we will have one member of the Mocko family either interviewing, commentating alongside. We'll figure it out. So that will definitely happen. Who are your inspirations? Probably too many to name. I think the thing that inspires me the most is anyone who commits to a routine, and like somebody who can do plank every day. That's like the most incredible thing for me in the world. Like my ability to motivate myself to do a core routine every day is so low, and that's basically my profession right now. So somebody who has figured that out, I know my mom has figured it out. My brother has a ridiculous weightlifting routine that he does now. That kind of stuff is just amazing to me, that people, especially things when you're in the gym every day, just kind of stuck on a treadmill, that just amazes me that people have that dedication to do that every day, to either stay healthy, look fantastic, get those biceps popping, but mostly for health. So that's huge. I could do the standard, my parents, because they're wonderful people, but they really are. Raising a family apparently is not as easy as it looks. As I found out when I moved to California, where what a family is a bit different, and having family dinners every night, playing cards with the kids, the fact that I still call my family, I feel like is not quite as normal as I once thought. So whatever they did to raise us somehow worked. Okay, Kevin, do you eat a lot of peanut butter? This is the second to last question. Do you eat a lot of? Yes, I eat way too much peanut butter. I wish I had a way to stop, but I just finished a jar and I was like, okay, we're not going to open a new one for a while. But unfortunately, my roommates have 3 already in there. So if I don't open one, I'm going to eat theirs. So yeah, it's either peanut butter or almond butter pretty much all the time. And I'll just take a spoon and attack it any time of the day. And what else do we have from the Mockos? Do you guys have anything? Any questions? Andrew, if you're still here, I apologize for missing our run on Saturday. I will try to make it up to you. If you happen to be at Kezar tomorrow night, I would love to see you there. We can grab a drink afterwards. Jessica, important question. Are you coming to Auburn soon? I probably need a little bit of time away from the Western States trails, mostly not because I have any PTSD or anything, but because it was so darn hot, and I know it's only getting hotter right now, so I do not really care to run in 100-degree weather right now. I know that would be strength building, but the next trek will probably be to Mount Diablo. Any mountain outpost stuff? I would love to do an eating challenge with them, or running challenge, or any ridiculous thing that they do. Skylar is just across the bay in the East Bay, so he's pretty close by. He just dealt with a bout of food poisoning, so we'll probably wait until he's a bit recovered, but I would love to partner up with those guys. Okay, we'll end. This is kind of like Ultra Runner podcast, end with favorite beer question. I'm digging this Hop Stupid quite a bit right now, but I also have a larger bottle of Chimay. I don't know if it's blue or red, but I have that on reserve. Oh gosh, Ridley's really destroying the couch now. I've never seen her do it with me here, which is awesome, that she doesn't even care that I'm here anymore. So the Chimay is a fantastic beer, and it's a little bit pricier, so I do keep that reserved for special occasions. So my plan is to save that for after UTMB, assuming things go pretty well there. Yeah, I'm not getting any questions for Rob, Paul, or Maddie, so I think that is it. Ed asked, okay, fine. Ed asked, will I be at the SF Marathon Expo or race? I have run it a couple times in the past. I thought it was the same weekend as a wedding, and I wasn't going to be able to make it. Ridley. No. Come here. No. I thought I was going to miss it, but I'm actually in town. However, I don't really care to wake up at 5 a.m. Getting over there because the bridge will be closed might be a little challenging, so I do not expect to be there, but best of luck, Ed. Okay, I will end by showing Ridley We made it 50 minutes. If you guys can add comments to this YouTube when it gets uploaded, or another one if this was worth your while, next time I will be adding a Mocko family member. This was super fun. I can't believe there's 160 viewers, which is about 59 more than I expected. So it's pretty cool that you guys joined. I hope this was somewhat educational, or at least it was just on mute in the background so you could check out the basement life. Rob Mocko, okay, I'll run a marathon next year if you come visit. So that might actually be one of my biggest goals for 2018, is getting as many members of the Mocko family to run a marathon. So Mocko's challenge is out there. If you guys are interested, I would love to help you get to run a marathon, especially you, Mrs. Mocko. All right, let's end with a little Ridley. So here is the couch that she has been destroying. You can see it here. And look how innocent and adorable she looks. You are being a bit of a devil, but you are so cute, so we can't stay mad. All right, team, that is the end of the first ever Mocko Show Live. Thank you for joining. Take care.